I'm Jenni Carlson here with Jason Kersey. This is an OU update. We're coming to you from Norman. Jason, today we heard from OU players and coaches on the defensive side of the ball, and obviously the story of the day, which they couldn't talk much about, was Frank Shannon and his availability for this season. You learning yesterday that the school is fighting to have a suspension of a year after a Title IX investigation. What's the latest? What do you feel like is going to happen with Frank Shannon and his availability?
Well, it's so complicated. It's such a complicated issue because there was no criminal charges filed, but the school's independent Title IX investigation found him guilty of violating the sexual misconduct policy. So he was suspended for a year, but he's now fighting that in district court. And yeah, as we learned yesterday, OU has filed a motion to the Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court, asking that they uphold the suspension. It puts the football coaches, I think, in a very tough situation because legally, according to the stay from the district court, he has to be allowed to participate in things. But I don't think that necessarily means Bob Stoops has to play him, and I don't think he will.
Well, from what we heard today from Mike Stoops and just sort of as players were talking, it seems like Jordan Evans is the guy that's going to start in that spot, regardless of what happens in the courts with Frank Shannon. It seems to me like Jordan Evans is the guy. Where does that leave the Sooners at that linebacker position?
Well, it leaves them a little bit thin there, but if Jordan Evans stays healthy, I think it leaves them still in a really good position. I mean, this is a guy that played last year sparingly when Frank Shannon got hurt and played well. Played extremely well in the spring game. Everybody remembers his performance there. So he's only a sophomore, a true sophomore, so he's still pretty inexperienced. But I still think this, in terms of the starters, OU's still in pretty good shape.
Jordan Evans saying after practice that he's gained about 20 pounds to get ready to be more physical in that position. Looks like they're going to need him to be. We talked to Jordan Evans and other Sooners about the defense and about their linebacker situation.
You see the older guys that, Zach Sanchez, Charles Tapper, Eric Stryker, Frank, Dom, all those guys. We're a great defense. I'm really excited what we're going to do, but having them back just makes me play at their level as well. And then we all are playing at a high expectation and a high level. It's going to make the defense very fun this year. That's the thing about our defense. We're not, single individuals. We're all a unit. We're all unified, and just like when Frank helps me, I'll help Frank, or if Ahmad helps Bird, Bird helps Ahmad. That's why I think our defense is going to be great, because we all care about each other and want the best out of everybody.
It's like anything. We coach the players that are there. It's pretty much how it goes. We don't, all we can control are the players that are on the field, and that's all we ever, have controlled. So that's all we do. Just coach the players that are there. We get guys hurt week in and week out that aren't available, and the next guy up's got to come in and do the job. So that's just how it goes.
All right, so now attention turns to Jordan Evans and what he can do at that linebacker spot. And Jason, as you mentioned in the spring game and last season, he showed himself physically able to handle the position pretty well. Mentally, it seems like he's in a good spot too. Maturity, not a question with him, is it?
No, not at all. He's a local kid from Norman North. His father, Scott, was a defensive lineman at OU. So this place means a lot to him. So I don't think that anybody has to worry about him getting in any trouble. And also, he's mature, he's sharp. The only question I think when it comes to Jordan Evans is his lack of experience. But the only way you get experience is by playing. So I would imagine that OU should feel like that spot is in pretty good hands.
All right, we'll continue to follow what's happening on the field and off the field with this situation. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.